Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all the praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to Akim out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Chayan Apash coming at you with another lesson. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Don't Be a Useless Ninja at Work. All right? Or a useless nigga at work. And this is based on a conversation that I had with a brother last night, and basically just said, you gotta, if you're working for somebody, you're working for Esau, whatever, it doesn't matter who you're working for, right? You have to find out how you can be beneficial for them in your position. That should be your mindset when you're working those jobs. What am I here for? Why did they hire me? What can I do to be beneficial, And that's why a lot of Jakes sometimes, sometimes it's racism, right? But then sometimes it's because Jake is actually just useless, man. It can be both. It could be one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Because Jake just doesn't. He doesn't. When he goes to these jobs, he's not thinking about how productive can I be. He's thinking about getting through the hours so he can get his paycheck. Which, okay, that's a mentality that you have, but you don't expect to move anywhere in that job. All right. There's actually people who have moved from being workers in particular jobs to actually the CEO. They work so well in the job that the people who own the job put them in the position of CEO. There's stories like that. Why? Because they took their job seriously, right? And if you're taking the job serious and stagnant for you and you're putting in more and not getting in what you deserve, okay? But the scriptures say to do everything as if you do it unto the Most High, and to move wisely, to them that are without. We're supposed to be, we're not supposed to be like the average Jake. The average Jake is in a cursed mentality. He has a cursed mentality. He has a destroyed mindset. Okay? So we're not supposed to be like them. We're supposed to move different. Right? And I was telling the brother story, particular stories of work at particular jobs. Yeah, you have certain cases where they won't or whatever, but a lot of them will pay because they're not dumb. If you're beneficial to them, they don't. Okay? And they're supposed to be pretty much amazed in them. He would always tell me that because he sees the way I operate, man. He sees the way I move. Even the racist Edomite that was there, that was in that particular office, man. He would tell me, listen, I know someone was giving information about the company, that they weren't supposed to. I know it wasn't you because I know that you're a man of integrity and you wouldn't do something like that. So why did they think that about me? They thought that about me because of the way I carried myself. And I was surprised that both of them said that. That's not being that's not wise. That's not wise. And that's not how we're supposed to operate. The scriptures even speak about servants obeying your master, which because you had Israelites that worked even for other Israelites that were in the ministry, and you were not supposed to be because you're in the ministry and he's he's not so-called, he's your brother, and he's an upstanding individual. That's what they're supposed to be saying about you overall, man. Which obviously people are going to have their things against you, right? But when you're in a job and you're working a job or whatever the case may be, or a brother may give you a job, you don't go and act, show your ass at the job. You don't just be lazy. You don't just call in sick every weekend. Because then again, that's going to reflect badly on the brother. It's like, damn, you know, right? How did Joseph become second in command? Ultimately, the Lord put him in that position. But guess what? Do you think he was being a lazy ninja while he was doing his duty as a servant? No, he wasn't. He was doing what he had to do, and he was going over and beyond. And you know, and he was impressed. Sparrow was impressed, you know, at his wisdom and things of that nature, man. So he was useful, right? And not to mention the Lord gave him the understanding of the dreams. So he, he became beneficial, and that's what brought him forward in that kingdom, and he became second in command in Egypt, right? He became second in command. Daniel was very beneficial to the king, right? And the king loved Daniel, man. The king was mourning when he was put up in the lion's den, man. And he came to check up on him, and he was so happy and praised the Heavenly Father when he found out that Daniel was okay. All right? And Daniel was a servant, right? So when you're doing these things and we're operating in the world, there's a way to operate that can actually help you. If you move in that particular way, man. If you think that, I'm going through, I can't go nowhere, it's just the curses, I stay here. No, actually, no. You can actually, even under the curses, the Lord can have it where you get a little bit further in what you're doing, and that could actually help you overall, even with doing lessons and all that, man. Because if you're in a better position and you're not stressing about money as much, your mind is clear, to do lessons and do different things better, So yeah, so don't forget that when you go to these different jobs and stuff, be you know be an example of how Jake is supposed to be, right? It doesn't mean you're happy to be in captivity. You're just you're just doing what you got to do. You're doing the best with what you have. You're making lemons. You're making lemonade out of lemons, and that's what we're supposed to do. That's what does it mean to be a surplanter? That means to overtake. You know what I mean? That means to overtake. All right? So that's part of being Jacob, is to do the best with what you have. Oh, well, that's why Laban wanted Jacob around, because while Jacob was there, right? I'm talking about our forefather, while Jacob was there, he was getting those blessings. So he didn't want to let Jacob go. All right? Because he was getting them blessings. All right? Well, guess what? Hey, we're supposed to have that spirit of being able to do the best with what we have and to overcome. You know, this is another reason why Esau fears us, because he knows what we did during the Roman Empire. He knows what we did. He knows we were ruling in the Byzantine Empire, man. He doesn't want us to get back up. And a lot of these Jakes, Esau has brought them to a level where there ain't no way these Jakes is getting up. All right, because they have a cursed mentality. You know. So, I just want to say that real quick, and Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect. Just a quick exhortation video. And with that, I'll say shalom.